The Buffalo Bills can't overcome the Eagles, the refs, and late game poor game management by the coach. Welcome to Buffalo Against the World.
This is Buffalo Against the World Sports Talk with Kulu and Bills Mafia. It's our time.
Act like you know, baby.
Act like you know.
Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Buffalo Against the World. And as always, I got to bring in my cousin Brad, man. Good to see you, man. We got a lot to discuss with this game, man. A lot of frustration with the Buffalo Bills Mafia. But, man, as we always do, Cousin Brad, tell me how you doing. Then we're going to go around the league.
Well, first off, thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Hopefully your days off were great. Hopefully you spent a lot of time with friends and family. We appreciate you being here. I've been better. Obviously, heartbreaking loss yesterday. But we had a lot to talk about. We got a lot to unpack when it comes to this specific game. So we can, if you want, man, we can dive right in.
Let's dive right in. We about to go around the league. Cousin Brad going to take us around the league and also some breaking news happening. Let's go ahead, Cousin Brad. Let's lead us off. Take us around the league. Let us know what's happening.
All right, I will take you guys around the league. Let's go around. We had a lot of different games this week. It was kind of weird. All right, we're going to start off with the Thursday game that we had. Bear with me. Uno momento, por favor. And there we go. Okay, so the Thursday game was a Thanksgiving game. The Packers and Lions. The Packers upset the Detroit Motor City Kitties, beating them 29-22. I have no idea what happened to the Lions that day. That was a pretty weird game. The other holiday game was the Cowboys and the Commanders. The Commanders pretty much didn't even show up as the Cowboys tromped them 45-10. The final game late in the evening was the 49ers versus the Seahawks. God bless Geno Smith, but the 49ers beat the crap out of them 31-13. The Black Friday game, first time this has ever happened. It was pretty much slaughter. The Dolphins beat the crap out of the Jets 34-13. The Dolphins actually had a Hail Mary pick six. That never happens, but it's like the most New York Jet thing ever. So shout out to the Dolphins. I mean, they're doing their thing. The Colts beat the Buccaneers 27-20. The New York Giants beat the New England Patriots 10-7. The Steelers upset the top-seeded Cincinnati Bengals in that division, beating them 16-10. I told y'all Jake Browning wasn't nothing. I tried to tell y'all don't listen to me up in here. The Panthers.
The Cincinnati Bengals are not the top seed in that division, sir.
No, I said that. Yeah, they were till this week.
Okay. No, they weren't.
They were until they lost. Yes, they were. They were tied with Baltimore. They were tied with Baltimore, and now they lost. So the Baltimore's the top seed now.
Baltimore was the top seed all along.
Yeah, but they were tied. Okay, whatever. All right. Titans beat the Panthers 17-10. The Jaguars beat the Texans in a thrilling matchup, 24-21. The Saints lost to the Falcons 24-15. The Rams beat the Cardinals 37-14. The Broncos beat the Browns 29-12. And the Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-17. Last night's game, the Ravens beat the Chargers 20-10. And, of course, the Eagles prevailed against the Buffalo Bills 37-34. Tonight's game is the Vikings and the Bears. We'll see what happens in that one. But let's just unpack right now. Yeah. Eagles prevailed in overtime against the Buffalo Bills. Don't know what happened.
Honestly, disgusting loss, and here we go again with the second half meltdown. I mean, we got so much to unpack, and we're just gonna set it off right here on the Fan Cave with Cousin Brad from the Fan Cave on Buffalo Against the World. Man, we got a lot of negative factors. First and foremost, second half meltdown. Again, the defense was playing dominant in the first half. We had contained. Second half.
Doing a job. Yeah, they were doing a job.
Second half, Eagles made adjustments. McDermott made.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some of these things, but we got a lot to unpack here. I mean, a lot of the fans are calling for McDermott's head.
Don't do that.
A lot of calls on the referees with these horrendous penalties.
Yeah, that was bad.
Okay. We also left 20 points out there on the board. So let's start with the referees.
Do you really want to start there?
Yes, I do. I want to start.
Go right ahead. I'll let you go.
Foremost, in the first half alone, you had over 75 yards of penalties in the first half. And you were still going into halftime winning the game. Shout out to my bro Lance. Tough loss, like you mentioned, bro. It's crazy right now. 75 yards in penalties. And then we watched them go Ray Charles, a.k.a. or Stevie Wonder when it comes to penalties, when it came to holding calls on Stephon Diggs, when it came to Josh Allen getting hit in the head, when it comes to the horse collar throwdown, and then they turn that into an intentional grounding. I mean, and that took us, that's what led to that blocked field goal that we lost points on. So the refs played a very, very key factor in this game. And need I remind you, Cousin Brad, in overtime, A.J. Brown fumbled. A.J. Brown fumbled that ball. Buffalo recovers. Game over. Game over. As bad as we played when it came to that second half, overtime, that game was over. After that fumble, they called it an incomplete pass. Poor officiating all the way around. There was another play where Sherfield basically got tackled before the ball even touched his hands, and no call again. There was grabbing and pulling on the receivers the whole game. I mean, what do we have to do to get a call? Absolutely ridiculous. Go ahead, guys.
All right. I'm not going to say the officiating was perfect because it obviously wasn't. I mean, there was a ton of missed calls on both sides, too. Yeah, we lost, so obviously we're going to – on both sides. Both sides. I mean, Josh Allen flopped for the one, roughing the passer. He flopped. They got 15 out of it. All right. There were a couple calls that they missed on that were in favor for us, too. So, I mean, it really goes hand in hand. Did we have a lot more calls on our end than they did on theirs? Absolutely. I'm not going to say the referees were perfect. They obviously weren't. There were calls that definitely were missed calls. But with all that, with all of what you just said, with everything that was happening, the weather, Philly, the refs, away, the coaching staff, Joe Brady, Sean McDermott, the adjustments that they made, Nick Sirianni, everything, we still had the opportunity to win the game, and we didn't win. We didn't close. We didn't. Hold on. Wait. Let me finish. There is a difference between championship teams and mid teams. Eagles. They gave this game away about 7 times. They gave the game away about 7 times. Championship teams prevailed. It was a mission that had to be done. They achieved the goal. We did not.
Okay. You done? All right. So now check this out. They gave them that game. They gave them that game on several different occasions. Half the calls, we didn't get even close to as many calls. 75 yards, even over 100 yards in penalties the whole game. How do you really even overcome that? And with that, and I've said this on prior shows, the Bills are such a well-together put team that a lot of times, in order for them to lose, they have to beat themselves or get out coached.
True, okay? Very true.
And this has happened 4 times in the fourth quarter, where this is going to take us right to our next part. We talked about the refs. We got to go on this coach, on this head coach who is playing the game not to lose instead of coaching to win.
Okay, explain
this is really destroying this young quarterback who is dynamic.
Explain that point. I want to hear where you
go right into it, because you know what?
Go right into it, because I want to hear where you go.
Sean McDermott, first of all, you made no second half adjustments to stopping the run. They ran to the left 4 straight times One time got 50 plus yards. No adjustments being made. Okay. Then let's not talk about icing the kicker. Bonehead giving away a timeout when you only have maybe 20. You had at that point you had about 25 seconds left, and you called that timeout to ice the kicker. First and foremost, the kicker is already kicking in pouring rain, 59 yards. How much more pressure do you think you're going to put on him? You're not. Foolish move again. Lose a timeout.
But
game in.
No, I'll let you go, and then I'll piggyback off you. Go ahead.
Now, not only that, you gave up 30 points. 30 points in the second half. 30 points in the second half. Unacceptable. Okay. Another thing. Kneeling on the 20 with the 20 seconds.
That I did not agree with. That was
go down and score in a hurry. We saw what the Chiefs did to us in 13 seconds.
I'll give
you mean to tell me this team can travel 35 yards to kick a field goal with a timeout and get the go-ahead win before you have to go in overtime? But yet you say, this coach says, I don't believe in my quarterback. He is saying this. This is what this defensive-minded coach is saying. He is saying, I don't believe in my quarterback. I don't believe in my offense. So therefore, I'm going to go into overtime, knowing that you have not won once in overtime in your tenure in Buffalo. Go ahead, cuz.
Okay. So, number one, they did make adjustments in the second half. Nick Sirianni also made adjustments in the second half. Philly is a well-oiled machine. They've proved that time after time after time. Yeah, in the first half, McDermott had them in check. I'll give you that. The defense had them in check the entire first half. They got a point on some lucky stuff, whatever. We'll give them that touchdown in the first half. All right. We missed a field goal. They blocked one and we missed one. I will give you 100% correct. I have no idea why they chose to kneel on the ball with 20 seconds and a timeout left. I have no idea why they did that. That, to me, is not smart football. I get it. The conditions were bad, a pick six, a fumble, whatever. I get that. But still, I mean, this offense was playing well this entire game. So I have no idea why they did that. Philly's a great offense. Philly, well-coached, well-oiled machine, championship caliber. Jalen Hurts is playing out of his mind. Like, I'm going to say this. Aside from the Dolphins game, this was the best game the Bills have played.
Okay.
Hold on, wait. Let me finish. This is the best game they have played all around.
I just want to ask you one question.
Hold on. Let me finish because I got a point I got to make.
Okay, go ahead.
Special teams, offense, defense. This is the best game they've played besides the Miami game, which they were just clicking on all cylinders. The timeout to ice the kicker, I get that. The reason why I get that is because just last week we lost the game because we had an extra guy on the field. We didn't call timeout. We called timeout this time to make sure, look, we got all our guys ready. It's a 59-yard kick. Don't know if he's going to make it, and he drilled it. He could have hit it from 65 if he wanted to. So he drilled it. He drilled it. But that's the reason why I think that happened, and that's what I'm going to go with as far as that goes. Refs, I mean, you could blame the refs all day. We still had the opportunity to win.
Okay, so here's where you're wrong. Okay, where you're wrong, number one, is McDermott said in his press conference he was trying to ice the kicker. He didn't say anything about checking to see how many men were on the field. So that didn't happen coming out of his own mouth. He was trying to ice the kicker. That's what he was trying to do. Again, he's in that old school mentality. That
happens every week.
The NFL has evolved. Okay, you have to.
It still happens though.
Timeouts. Okay, so that happened there. Okay, when it comes to making adjustments, he did not make the adjustments in the second half. He played the exact same defense, and they figured it out. And they were able to come out in the second half Look,
They
man,
scored.
we've been saying this time and time and time again. We talked about Doug Collins. We made excuses for getting to the playoffs. Look, Doug Collins got Michael Jordan to the playoffs. Let's stop playing here.
Okay.
But he was not the one. He was not the one to get Michael Jordan over the hump. Listen, man, I appreciate what McDermott has done. I really have. How he has changed the culture of this franchise. But when it comes to playing against great teams in do or die situations, i.e. the Chiefs in the playoffs, i.e. the Bengals last year playoffs, i.e. the Bengals this year, when it comes to playing great teams and great quarterbacks and teams that you are actually better than that year, we were better than Philly last night.
No, we weren't.
We were physically better than them. We had their crowd under control in the first half. We were physically better than that team. Josh Allen gave all he had out there.
I'll give you that. Yeah, we were physically. Yeah.
So I'm not going to go with that.
Yes. Physically, you're absolutely right. We were physically better than that team yesterday. You know where they were better than us at? Mentally better than us yesterday.
Coaching.
They didn't. Nick Sirianni is a great coach.
Oh.
Nick Sirianni is a great coach. Nick Sirianni is a good coach. They got to the Super Bowl last year, but their mentality was we're not out. We're not out. Like, we're not out. Even in overtime, they're like, yo, we not out. We not out. And the Bills had the game won. Like, Gabe Davis runs inside instead of outside. We win the game. Josh Allen throws outside instead of inside. We win the game. Like, you can sit here and blame McDermott all you want. I'm not looking to fire him. I'm not looking to bring anybody else in, because if you bring somebody else in, it's going to start all over, and we're going to go back to square one with a good quarterback, receiver, start trading people.
Here's what Lee, we got a comment from Lee here. Lee said, if you kneel with 20 seconds and you take a chance and try to drive down the field, what happens if you get a strip sack? Then people are sitting there saying you should have just kneeled. Well, you know what? People can say a lot.
It can go both ways. It can go either way.
It can go either
way.
What
happens if we throw a touchdown pass?
You still have to give your team an opportunity to try to go out there and win. I don't think if something happens and we went out there and tried to win, fans are going to complain no matter what, but you got to try.
You cannot win. But let's look at this from a logistics perspective. We had the lead at halftime. We tied the game. I mean, we had the lead going into the fourth quarter. They tied the game. We almost won it overtime. I didn't want them to have the ball again. And I'm gonna just call a spade a spade. There is no reason why Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer would be in the back of the end zone with a receiver whose name you can't even pronounce, catching a touchdown over both of them.
And mossed them both.
The SWAT team is dead.
Yeah, that's done for.
If you're going to replace somebody, that's where you start.
Okay,
that's where you start.
So we've talked about this, right? And we've talked about the signing of Deontay Hardy. We've talked about Kaiir Elam not playing.
He didn't play last night. Right.
Now we saw last night he was inactive. Okay.
Right.
Guy that you signed, and he's inactive. You're not utilizing these guys. Sherfield was signed. He was a really good asset that Josh Allen wanted on this team. He played really good with Miami, physical blocker. I mean, we have some pieces here that McDermott has not figured out what to do. I mean, a lot of the things that we talked about with Ken Dorsey, that we said Ken Dorsey was the problem, was there's an interview out there where Ken Dorsey was actually talking about a couple weeks before he was fired that the philosophy that was being created was by Sean McDermott. He's
the head coach. Yeah, he creates the philosophy. Yeah,
what he wanted to see. He didn't get the results he wanted to see, and he made this dude the fall guy. So here we go again. You got guys like first round draft pick like Kaiir Elam who cannot get on the field. Put him on IR, whether it was for, whether he's really injured or you just don't want to give the guy a shot, whatever. You can't find a place for him on the field. The development players, that's another issue.
Is that a McDermott thing or is that a front office thing?
Look, man, it could be a little bit of both. The coach is the ones who interacts with the players. This guy has talent. This guy is 6'3". This guy runs a 4.3. This guy can play man coverage. Why not try him at safety? I don't know.
I agree. I said that from the beginning. Put him in the safety position. He's not a cornerback. He's not a good cornerback. He is not a cornerback. He's not a cornerback in the NFL level. No. I mean, Bedford. Bedford was a 4th-round pick out of Villanova. Villanova is a basketball school. This dude he's playing the best season I've ever seen him play. So, I mean, it could go both ways. It can go both ways at the end of the day. Like, this team played their best. This was the best game the Bills have played, and it wasn't enough. The Philadelphia Eagles are a championship team. Bills may be a mid team. They're a mid team. It's that simple.
I can't listen to that because we won. We
lost.
We lost. You sometimes you lose and you're the better team. Don't get that twisted.
True. That's exactly what happened.
That just means you either got out coached, outsmart. See, football is a game of strategy, momentum, and physicality. Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
First half strategy, we out physical them.
Mm-hmm.
We had the strategy in the first half. Okay.
Absolutely.
And we had the momentum going into the second half.
100%.
So once you lose that and you're not at home and in a hostile environment like Philly, I mean, what are we talking about here? Like my man Darnell said, he said McDermott consistently, we have given this guy so many, consistently gets out coached. And a lot of times it's not even by the greatest coaches. A lot of times it's not even by the Bill Belichick's of the world, cuz.
Okay, hold on. Did we not stall Jalen Hurts in the entire first half? He looked terrible in the first half. Did he or did he not?
He did.
Terrible. He looked terrible in the first half. So what did they do? They started sliding the protection to the left, just like you said, started running the ball right in between the tackles. And that was the counter to that move. They were playing the defense they were playing a cover 3. They had the guys motioning so Jalen Hurts couldn't run. He couldn't run outside the pocket. The guys were standing straight up. They were shifting him to the left and to the right. He can't throw on a run. I mean, he did in the second half. He made a great touchdown pass, but he couldn't throw on a run. A lot of them were falling short. That's what happened. But when it came to them running the ball, we couldn't stop the run. And that was a chess move by Nick Sirianni. You got to give him credit when credit is due.
I give him credit. I give coaches credit for coaching.
Yes.
I think McDermott is a great defensive coordinator, but I think he's a little far over his head.
Okay. Did the Bills not play the best game they had besides the Dolphins game? Did they not play the best?
They played a very good game.
That's not what I asked you.
All the way around. If you want to talk about all the way around, no. They didn't because we didn't give up 30 points. We didn't give up 37 points in the Miami game. So, no.
If we win, it don't even matter.
It would have been a thriller game on both sides. I don't mean we played better. Right?
I mean, let's be real. The only reason why we're even talking about this, they blocked a field goal. That's it. That's where the points were. The points are right there. They blocked the field goal.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, too.
Before we do, first
and foremost,
at the Philadelphia game. Now we all know Philadelphia is notorious for hostile fans. I completely understand. There was an altercation with a couple of Bills players, a la Jordan Phillips and Shaq Lawson. Both of them did take to Twitter. I'm just going to go ahead and read their tweets because they did get into the altercation. First off, I'm going to start with Jordan Phillips. He tweeted, "I love the crowd. I love rowdy fans. It makes the game fun. But one thing I'm not going to tolerate is someone threatening me or my family. That is a line that shouldn't be crossed." Shaq Lawson also tweeted at Bills Mafia, "Those who know me know that I'm all about fans. I have a lot of respect for the game. I play on my I play all my opponents. Before the game started yesterday, there was a fan behind the bench who was making threatening remarks towards us and our families. We asked Philadelphia security to remove the fan, but they allowed the fan to stay the entire game. Eventually, our emotions boiled over, and I made a mistake. For that, I apologize, but there is a line you cannot cross." So that was from Twitter from both Jordan Phillips and Shaq Lawson. We saw the videos on the internet. We don't have to
And that's
Go ahead.
very, and at the end of the day, it's understandable. We saw this
Right.
happen a few years. Was it last year, where a heckler in the Lakers game was heckling LeBron about about his son, saying his son was in an accident, and he's saying he hope his son dies in an accident or something like that. And
Yeah.
LeBron got him removed. I mean, at some point, fans, we can't do things like this. And Bills
True.
Mafia are the most gracious fans. Like, I can speak to this from being at Game Day Hospitality, where we host other fans from other places outside of Buffalo, and we
Come
welcome
on,
them,
man.
eat with them, we hang out with them, we drink with them.
Come
We have
on.
time with them. But
Now,
we still
I'm
want
about to
to
say it.
we still want to beat you. Don't get it twisted. But we want you to get the tailgate Buffalo experience as well. So, but at the end of the day, we still want to beat you. But
You
bottom
you're
line
very
is
great.
he ain't doing stuff like that. So shout out
Yeah,
to the
we're not
Mafia.
threatening
and the Mafia.
families. We're not. Yeah, there's a line you can't cross. But I mean, Philly is a different beast. Bucket list. I want to go to a Bills Philadelphia game, and I want the Bills to win, and I want to survive and say that I made it out of Philly with the Bills with a win. That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
It will.
Hostile environment, definitely. But we talked about the head coach. We talked about the referees. Let's
Mhm.
talk about some missed opportunities in this game. We left 20 points out there, Cousin Brad. We left 20 points out there on the field. We can start with the James Cook drop.
Oh,
Go to the block field goal. Then we got to go to
Yep.
the missed field goal. Then we got to go to the Gabe Davis and Josh Allen miscommunication in overtime, which closes the game. That's 20 points.
yeah.
Bills connect on 2 or 3 of them. One of them, we win
One of
the
them.
game.
Yeah.
So missed opportunities were a big problem in this game. You talk about 20 points that really, really held us back from winning this game. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, so absolutely 1000% there were 20 points missed. I am not going to give too much slack to the kickers nor James Cook because of the weather conditions. That's the only reason why I'm cutting them slack, because of weather conditions. I get it. You got to make the catches. You got to make the kicks. I 100% get that. Only reason why I'm cutting them some slack, because it was rainy out there. It's hard to catch the ball in the rain. It's hard to kick the ball in the rain. I'll give you that. Gabe Davis and Josh Allen, I have no idea what happened. I have no idea what happened right there. That is not on Joe Brady. That is not on Sean McDermott. That is not on the defense. That is not on the offensive line. That is strictly between those two.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ran the wrong route. I don't know if Josh made the wrong read. At the end of the day, he was open and the ball went the other way.
Well, yeah, they
So-
said Michael Irvin, who was a Hall of Fame receiver, he mentioned that he put this on Gabe Davis because
Okay.
usually when you have that option and you're neck and neck with the corner and he's
Mhm.
behind you, you got him beat, even though he may be neck and neck. So you cut to the inside is the better decision than cutting to the outside because it's a harder throw for the quarterback to make it under pressure. So again,
You throw to the pylon. I know that role. You throw to the pylon.
right.
And he
So
didn't do it.
So, I mean, again, if Josh had a little bit more time, there's no throw Josh can't really make. But
True.
again, I mean, with that pressure coming so fast, Josh got rid of that ball and he expected Gabe to be in the right place, getting his head around,
Yeah.
or at least to
And
try
that
to.
happened twice. That happened twice too. Because remember, what's his name, Stansfield or whatever his name is, 16, Sherfield. He ran the wrong route too. He ran an outside. He ran an inside. No, I'm sorry. He ran an outside route that should have been inside. So I mean, that happened more than once. But you know what? I'm gonna put blame where blame is due. Now, don't get it twisted. Josh Allen played great. He played outstanding. The man has talent. He has an arm that can throw it out of the stadium. He can run. He can make all the throws. But I'm just gonna call a spade, man. When it comes to clutch situations and situations where you need to win, he don't show up. It's that simple.
Look,
If that was Tom, hold on, wait. If that's Tom Brady, that's a touchdown.
let's
that's
not,
Patrick
let's
Mahomes,
not do that.
that's a
Let's
touchdown.
not do that. I can't let.
I'm just
do it,
calling
cuz.
a spade, man.
I love
Tom
you,
Brady,
but I
touchdown.
cannot let you
Patrick
blame
Mahomes,
Josh Allen.
touchdown.
And, look, man. This is our
Am I
franchise.
lying? Am I taking shots to speaking facts?
I'm gonna tell you right now. Here's the thing: 4 touchdowns. He made 1 interception. which
True.
turned into that Moss play, right?
Yeah.
That should have never happened. Two
Should never happen.
all-pro safeties who we've been touting after for years,
Yep.
who are pretty much aged and probably washed up by this point. Get
Yeah.
mossed by a no-name receiver, as you mentioned earlier.
I don't even know his name.
But yes, that was not the best pass to throw into double coverage. But 4 touchdowns, man. 4 touchdowns, man.
He played great.
4 touchdowns.
He
Over
played
400 yards of offense. Hold on, let me finish it. Let me finish, cuz. Let me finish. Over 400 yards of offense, of passing offense, threw the ball 51 times. Man,
Yes.
the man put his heart out there on the field, man. When
Exactly.
and Darius Slay and Slay said this. He said, "You throw the ball 51 times, you're gonna throw a pick. You're gonna throw a pick, man."
Possibility.
And he said people talk about somebody throwing the ball 51 times. I got to cover 51 times if you're throwing that ball that much. So it's tough to do that. And you're playing against some pretty solid corners at that. And he was double covered.
All pro.
I mean, really, one mistake in a rainy, probably windy, gusty game against one of the best teams in the NFL. Come on now.
Yes.
Josh does not. Josh, I'm not blaming Josh's one turnover.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say this one turnover was that. All I'm saying is clutch situations, it's kill or be killed. Jalen Hurts got the ball. He knew it was a mission that had to be done. And he said, you know what? Forget this. I'm just going to run it in myself. And kill or be killed. He killed. Did he or did he not? He's like, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to throw it. I'm not going to give it to somebody. I want the ball in my hands. I'm going to win. You talked about this. You said he doesn't have that killer instinct. And you said when he messes up, he kind of crumbles and stuff like that. I saw it yesterday. It's killer.
I didn't see that yesterday, though. I didn't see it. I seen him rise up.
I seen him play great. I seen him play fearless. But when it comes to kill or be killed, that's what we get. We get a. Oh, I thought you were gonna zag when you zigged. I don't know what you were doing right there. I don't get that.
So here's what you're not missing. I mean, when I talk about this performance, I mean it's one of the best performances of this season for Josh Allen, with the exception of the one turnover. I mean,
absolutely.
He physically took over the game in the second half. He used his legs, he used his arm, he used his head, he used the head fake, he used everything a quarterback could use to win a game. Okay.
Right.
And technically, even though it was a field goal when he left the field, the game should have been won. And like Lee said, like Lee just mentioned about the AJ Brown, and we mentioned this earlier, the AJ Brown fumble. Game was over. Game was over.
True.
But the 20 points hurt us, man. And none of those 20 points was on Josh.
No, it was not. I'm not blaming Josh for the turnovers. I'm not blaming Josh for what I'm saying is, all right, it's overtime. Sudden death. We score, we win. I'm like, in my head, yes, he's playing great.
Who's that on, though? Is that on him or Gabe?
Is he going to score?
Is it him or Gabe?
I don't know.
Is it him or Gabe?
Michael Irvin is on Gabe. I don't know who it's on. But I'm sitting here thinking that mentality, like, look. And don't get it twisted. He was awesome in the second half. He was 6 for 6 on 3rd and longs. That's unheard of. 6 for 6 on 3rd downs. That's unheard of. But when it comes to the game on the line, put the ball in his hands, go win me the football game. Oh, man, I thought you were going to do this. What? Oh, man. Oh, now we got to kick a field goal. That will.
Josh knows that he's secure in Buffalo, so he kind of took that. He kind of took that blame. He know Gabe is not as secure as he is, so he's not going to blame Gabe. He's too humble of a dude.
I get it.
Do that, but for real, I trust the Hall of Fame wide receivers. Opinion on this. His opinion was it was the receiver's fault. I'm trusting Michael Irvin on that one, man. So Black Panther says, so the 13 seconds game, how was that Josh's fault if he's not?
That wasn't Josh's fault.
That's exactly what I said. Again, this is the
It
similar
wasn't his
situation.
fault. Patrick Mahomes just won. You just proved my
So
point.
did Jalen Hurts yesterday.
Exactly. You just proved my point. When the game's on the line, it's kill or be killed. Patrick
he's not
Mahomes said,
clutch.
I'm going to kill.
Shane is not clutch.
That's exactly what happened.
He's
Huh?
clutch. He's clutch. He hasn't been on the winning side of it, unfortunately, because his defense
Right.
has let him down. We
Hey,
know what
that's
happened
true.
with that prevent defense.
That's true. That's
And
true.
again,
But it's kill or
that
be
falls on
killed,
the
bro.
head coach. Again,
Does.
falls on the
It does.
head coach. Listen, man, time and time again. Now, I'm not going to take nothing away when Josh Allen has blown games. He has. That game last night was not one of them. That
It
game
was not
last
winnable,
night.
but all I'm saying is kill or be killed. I'm not counting on Josh Allen to win us the game. I'm not. I'm not
There's
counting on him.
there's no one else on this team you can count on. I can tell
That's
you. That.
unfortunate.
So,
That's
you know, at
unfortunate.
the end of the day, Josh Allen is our quarterback, and he's the one we've given all of this money to. So he has.
So we got to put that trust in him, but I don't have it.
Well,
I don't have that. Oh, he's gonna pull this off. I don't have that. I don't have that mentality. I don't have that.
And that
We
may
won
be
the toss.
because of
Yes, I don't have
and
that.
that may be because of your head coach. Hey, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the Built-in Buffalo platform. Right after this, we're going to come right back and we're going to talk about some positives from the game because there were positives. There were positives. We're emotional right now. We're upset. We're angry. We're frustrated. We want to fire everybody, but we do have some positives. Right back after this.
Okay.
Subscribe to Built in Buffalo on YouTube. We are bringing so many wonderful new shows to the platform. We got so many other shows, the Red Zone. We got so many nice shows right here on Built in Buffalo. So subscribe on YouTube. It's free. It's easy to do. And of course, you can see myself and Cousin Brad every Monday as we discuss whether the Bills had a victory or an L and give us all the opportunity to vent because, you know, it's real tough out there. Cousin Brad, we have some positives in this game.
There were positives. There were positives. There were positives. I will
Look,
give
man, and I know what you had to say about Josh Allen just a minute ago, but hey, Josh Allen is back. Josh Allen, that Josh Allen you was talking about with the haircut, with the buzz cut.
I said it. Yeah, I wanted that.
Is back. He played amazing last night. He left his heart out there on the field. I felt so horrible for him that he didn't come away with the W with the performance.
Yeah, we all feel bad. We all feel bad for Josh, and I'm glad that Josh Allen is back. I'm glad he came back with a leather jacket and a haircut and all of that, but it's still we won the coin toss. I don't think we're going to win though. I don't have that. Yeah, we won the coin toss. It's over now. Like I don't have that. I feel like all right, let's try to get it in the end zone. Like that's how I feel. But there were positives. There were 100% positive, and I'm glad to see Josh Allen playing out of his mind again. It was against Philly, and we talked about it last week. Philly's championship pedigree. So I mean, shout out to Josh. He did play well. I give him credit. Another positive, man, the running game was on point yesterday.
170.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. 170 yards rushing.
Where was this? Because the running game was on point. This was the number one running defense in the league. Where was this? Like, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Another positive. Rasul played well. I think he played really well. Christian Bedford did his thing. Hey man, our middle linebacker, that boy different, man. That boy different.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind right now.
That boy different.
That's Mini Milano right there, man. And you know what? You know who we've been on, Cousin Brad? We've been on Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis had a pretty good game yesterday.
Over 100 yards and touch.
Good game. You know, obviously it would have been
better. What they were doing though, but you see what they were moving him inside. You didn't know if he was going to be a tight end blocking, if he was shifting in the backfield, running right. That's how he caught that touchdown at the end of the game. Towards the end of the game, he shifted out of the motion. He didn't know if he was a tight end. Actually, he was going to block, ran a quick slant. Josh hit him in the touchdown. So yeah, they were doing a lot of different things with him, and he had over 100 yards. He was ball out of control. Made that tight catch on the sideline. Shout out to Gabe, man. He was doing his thing.
Yeah, he had a good game, man. We also got to give a big shout out to Joe Brady, man. Joe Brady is averaging 33 points a game since he became the offensive coordinator. I mean, he's really getting the job done for this team.
I like what he's doing.
I mean, I got to give Joe Brady a lot of credit. If something does happen to McDermott at the end of the season, I would like to still retain Joe Brady if possible. Look, man, it was some positives in this game. I think the first half, the defense came to play. They got after Jalen Hurts. They got him uncomfortable. They sacked him a few times.
Shout out to Lloyd, man. Lloyd was everywhere.
Man, he was back down passes. We were all over. We were all over these guys. We were all over these guys. And like I said in the outset of the show, because we were the better football team. We were the better football team. Some people would say if you're the better football team, you have to win. Not always the case.
Not always the case.
Sometimes you get out coached. Sometimes the strategy is better. But I'm gonna tell you right now.
Sometimes you play the Bills.
We were the better.
I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. Let's be honest, man. Sometimes you play the Bills and they're the better team, but you lose. I mean,
Shout out to my boy Rev, man. Shout out to Rev and the Buffalo Fanatics, man. Shout out to him. I was on the show, man. We had a really great show, man. We got to do another collab and get you over here. Or come on, collab with us over here on Buffalo Against the World on our side, on the Built in Buffalo side as well, man. We definitely shout out to Rev. Make sure you support Rev show as well over there at the Buffalo Fanatics. Look, man.
Who's your player of the game?
Got to talk about Ed Oliver, man. Ed Oliver had some really good stops again, and now we got to talk about Linval. Linval was playing well too. Linval,
straight off the couch, man. Straight off the couch. They brought him up. Was like, yo, go plug some holes, and he did his job. Yeah. He did his job. Hey, I like it. I like what he did. Dotson played well, being the spy for Jalen Hurts. He did get beat. Once or twice. He was the spy, and Jalen Hurts is not an easy dude to spy. So I mean, shout out to Dotson. Offensive line. Offensive line. I have nothing bad to say about the offensive line. I have no bad thoughts about the offensive line. Shout out to all of you. And it was hilarious to see Kelsey, the best center in football, get called on a false start twice. That was absolutely hilarious. Yeah. So, offensive line.
Yeah.
That was
offensive line played very well. I mean, and this is why I say what I say. I believe this team was a much better football team than the Eagles were, and I'm really encouraged because they expected this to be the Super Bowl. And who knows? Who knows? We can run a table, and it possibly still can be. But I know one thing after watching that game, we can beat that football team. We can beat that football team. It just comes down to coaching. It's going to come down to coaching. Man, Mark mentioned here, he says, I think Frank Reich should be the head coach next year. We're going to talk about Frank Reich a little bit later on. He is a Buffalo legend. I know a lot of people for a lot of years, including myself.
Have you watched Carolina?
Remember, I wanted Jimbo to be our offensive coordinator.
Oh, boy, just stop. Just stop.
But let me tell all of my Bills fans out there, Frank Reich and Jim Kelly did not invent the K-gun. Okay, it's Ted Archibroda.
It's misled.
So
go ahead.
Yes, they have football knowledge, but I'm not sure they make plays and draw plays and things like that. I will say that one of my scares about Frank Reich being the coach is he would be a fan favorite, so the fans would be really, really open to having Frank Reich back in Buffalo.
He's proven it's not bad. I mean,
Super Bowl champion. He's a Super Bowl champion.
Carolina is awful. It's not his fault. That team is bad. Bryce Hall is not a good quarterback. If you look at Bryce Hall and CJ Stroud,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. I'm sorry. Bryce Hall is the running back for the Jets. I'm sorry. Bryce Young. Yes, Bryce Young. He's not a good quarterback. He wasn't a good quarterback at Alabama. No, he's not a good quarterback. CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, levels. Bryce Young played very well yesterday. I'm sorry, CJ Stroud played very well yesterday.
I love their jerseys and their helmet. Please bring the red helmets back, please.
Houston is just so spoiled, and it sucks that the Titans wear Houston's throwbacks. That's so messed up. That's so messed up that the Titans wear the Houston Oilers, like the fire throwbacks. Like, oh, God. But, yeah, their jerseys, the red helmet with,
Yeah,
so great.
Chances higher.
So great. I'm just going to let me get this out just so I can get it out of my system. The only quarterback to beat Philly this season is Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it out of my system. So it's out. Okay, I got it out of my system.
Yo, cuz, you can answer this question right here. You know more about college football right there that Rev posted out there for us. Okay. What do you think about
David Shaw winning as coach in Stanford? I don't know if Shaw's ready for the NFL yet. I don't know if he's ready for the NFL yet. I mean, the college, yes, Stanford is great. Stanford is awesome. But, I mean, Harbaugh came from Stanford, went to the NFL, had a great run, went to the Super Bowl. Then it just started sucking. And then he went back to a team that I don't like that won this week too. But whatever. I don't think Shaw's ready yet. I think to bring him on maybe as an offensive coordinator and then bring him on slowly to get a head coaching job, I don't think he's just ready for NFL personalities. I mean, it's a different beast. From college to NFL is a different beast. You got to be some type of motivator of men compared to players who just playing for pride and NIL deals and stuff like that. I don't think Shaw's ready for that yet, but I mean, I could be wrong.
I like this take on Eric Bieniemy. I was talking about Eric Bieniemy last year. I mean, he's a champion.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of champions. I'm a big fan of champions who have gotten the job done. There has been questions whether Eric Bieniemy was actually calling the plays or was it Andy Reid. I know that has been in question, but I like Eric Bieniemy. I think he's a great motivator. With a guy like Joe Brady on his team, I think he'd be very, very good. Now, here's my thoughts on this, and we're going to ask a real deep question for a lot of Bills fans. It's going to hit home in just a minute before we get into that. I just want to say this. Here's my take. Now, if you get Frank Reich, let's say McDermott, the season tanks, we're done. Let's just say that happens. If you go ahead, you grab Frank Reich, you got a fan favorite, the fans would love it, right? You retain Joe Brady, okay? Mm-hmm. And then you pick up Robert Saleh as your defensive coordinator. What you think about that? Bills fans, what do you think about that? If you pick up Saleh for your defense, Saleh's always had solid defenses in New York.
I would rather have Antonio Pierce as my defensive coordinator. Like, I would rather bring some fresh young blood in. Like, I like Robert Saleh. I don't like him as a defensive coordinator. Like, I don't want him. I want some fresh blood, some blood. Like DeMeco Ryans. DeMeco Ryans is doing amazing in Houston. Like, who? Like,
why would he leave Houston to come to Buffalo to do the same job?
No. That's what I'm saying. But he's the new blood is what I'm talking about as far as head coach. Antonio Pierce is doing amazing. Can you even name the Raiders starting quarterback? No. Exactly. No. But they played good yesterday. They lost, but I mean, they played well. And I would want Antonio Pierce to be the defensive coordinator. You know, Aaron Glenn. I would want Aaron Glenn to be the defensive coordinator.
Is Garoppolo over there?
He's not playing. I think he's hurt. He's hurt, but they got some other guy in there. But I want, Aaron Glenn, Antonio Pierce. There are guys that have been waiting in the wing that deserve a shot. Deuce Staley. You can bring in Deuce Staley to be an offensive coordinator. He's doing well. Like, there are guys that are former players. Joey Porter, he's another one. His son is playing well. Joey Porter's another guy you could bring up, to be coaches. So I kind of want proven guys to fall off.
Proven.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Proven guys, but the old guard, I don't want that anymore. I want some new blood, some new fresh guys that can come in here and, carry the torch. Frank Reich, yeah, I mean, he's proven, but I don't want to get rid of Joe Brady. Joe Brady, fresh guy, new guy. Nobody really heard about him. I like what he's doing. I think he will definitely get an interview with him.
Frank's offensive coordinator over there in Carolina was terrible. So I definitely
Yeah,
think Frank would be looking
bad.
for some new staff if he did come here. But
Mhm.
Bills fans, I want to know what y'all think about this really quickly. There
Yeah.
have been talks that if Bill Belichick is fired,
Oh boy.
would Bills fans say, give this guy an opportunity to hoodie? Would we
No.
give Belichick an opportunity, knowing he does know how to develop quarterbacks? He developed one of the greatest of all time. I mean, he had Drew Bledsoe. I mean, Mac
No,
Jones is not
stop
great.
trying to make Bill Belichick work. It's not going to work.
I mean,
It's on-
but hold
it's
on,
on-
let me finish here. He always has had good defenses, despite
Yeah.
how horrible his team is, and
Yeah.
he really doesn't need big name receivers to get a
He
team.
don't.
He knows how to work quarterbacks. Look, man, I know we have a big history with Belichick, but I mean, respect. He's going to command the locker room. He's going to demand excellence. He's going to
Absolutely.
demand championship caliber, or you out the door. I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, Buffalo has not had that type of coach in here that demands that type of excellence. I mean, so what do y'all think, Bills fans? We got a couple.
Well, that's just. I mean, is he going to work well with Brandon Beane? How would that work? He's also the GM of the New England Patriots. So how is he going to take leadership from Brandon Beane? It's a team effort.
Jay says he would love it. Susie says no way.
Don't want him.
Jay says
Sorry.
bring him aboard.
Nah.
Look, man, Rev optimistic like me. Look, man, he said Belichick would win us a Super Bowl, bro.
Not Phil Jackson. He's not Phil Jackson.
Ooh, I mean, what can you say? I mean, look, let's keep it 100. In the 90s and in the 80s, the Patriots were the laughing stock. Were they not?
They were garbage.
Until the late 90s, where they got to the Super Bowl with Drew Bledsoe.
It was early 90s. It was early 90s. Was it 96?
But prior to that, 97-ish, when they played the Packers and lost.
Okay, yeah.
And it may be 98. But regardless of the fact,
I think it was 96.
He brought that franchise to life. That franchise was nothing before that.
They were
nothing before Belichick.
Pete Carroll got him back though. Pete Carroll, and we're forgetting about Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells was the reason why they got to the Super Bowl. Like, let's not forget about that.
Yeah,
that was the reason. And Bill Belichick is a Bill Parcells disciple. So
Bill Parcells is not coaching anymore. We're talking about Belichick.
I don't think it will work because he's the GM and he's the head coach, and I don't think him and Brandon Beane will work. I don't think it will work. I don't think it will work here. Like, you can't expect to just take over a team and they're just gonna be good just because of who you are. That's not gonna. If that was the case, they would be good now. They're not.
But look, they don't have a Josh Allen. They don't have a Stephon Diggs. They don't have dynamic players, and we have a very decent defense. I'm telling you right now, if Bill Belichick was the head coach of this team, Micah Hyde and them would probably not be on this team. These guys who are kind of older and washed up, they would not be on this team. Rev says that this type of head coach, I think this team needs someone who has been there and done that, especially when you consider how we have Josh Allen. Again, he has not had a quarterback great like that since, and even Tom Brady doesn't measure out with all the check boxes that Josh Allen checks.
So what?
Check boxes and all the dynamics that come with Josh Allen. He can do.
Don't even.
He doesn't.
Bro.
He does not check. He can't run the ball. He's not a dual threat. He's not a dual threat.
Tom Brady and Josh Allen. Are you seriously going to do that?
He's not a dual threat.
Bro.
He is the GOAT, but he's not a dual threat. Let's keep that 100.
Are you serious right now?
So this would be the most talented. I'm not talking about the greatest. Josh Allen is way more talented than Tom Brady.
I would say attributes, yes. Attribute wise.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking. He hasn't accomplished nothing close. Nobody really has. But the reality is, measurable wise, there's not many players.
On paper, it makes sense. Yeah, on paper, yeah, it makes sense on paper. on paper it makes sense. You know, they had Cam Newton. They kind of backed into the playoffs, and that didn't work. Cam Newton was washed at that point, but still, like on paper, yes, he's talented, but like, come on, bro. Like, is Anthony Hardaway as good as Jordan? Like, come on.
Of course. It's a whole
Exactly. Like, come on, man.
But compare somebody athletic wise. If you say, is Dominic Wilkins more athletic or as athletic than Michael Jordan? Yes, he was.
Is he a better player? No.
Was he as great? No.
Was Dominique Wilkins would have worked under Phil Jackson? That wouldn't have worked.
Well, you don't know that.
I'm just saying.
You don't know that.
I'm just saying.
We need Schwartz defense. I remember Jim Schwartz. Shout out to Jim Schwartz. He was actually
man, he was so awesome. He was so awesome. Shout out to him.
Yeah, man. So cousin Brad, before we get away from this, we got to throw our game out there. And fans, this is me and cousin Brad. We came out with this, and cousin Brad, we're gonna do this one together. Top 5 NFL video games. Sorry, cousin Brad, we didn't add any college games in here. I know you wanted to add some college games,
that's not
but
fair.
unfortunately, I don't play much college football games. So we're going to the all-time greatest video games.
Before we do this, we got to exclude Madden. Madden can't count.
No, Madden has to count. Madden has to count, bro. Madden has to count. You can't talk about it without Madden. Like, you cannot do it without Madden. Here is just a few.
You got 3 Madden football.
I'm gonna flash a few to the screen, and then I'm gonna let you set us off. What's one of your first choices here in the top 5?
Okay, my first
Just
top.
put Madden last. How about we put Madden last?
Okay, Madden is number 1. Okay.
He's number 1. Okay.
So Joe Montana football, 95.
Number 5. Okay.
Yep. Joe Montana football, 95.
And fans, if you got any thoughts on this, please drop something down in the comments. Some of the games. I'm going Tecmo Super Bowl. I'm going Tecmo Super Bowl. The 90s Bills and Tecmo Super Bowl. We was always in the Super Bowl. I mean, that was my first introduction to football games, period. I mean, Tecmo Super Bowl, classic. I mean, remember you had Bo Jackson running a 99 speed on that joint, Christian Okoye, people bouncing off him. I mean, those was the game. It was always the Bills and the Niners.
Yeah. My next one is going to be Al Michaels' Unnecessary Roughness. That game was ahead of its time. You remember if you hit the C button, I'm gone. Gone.
It was a hard one. That was a
fire game. That was you hit somebody, where you going? yo, that was a fire game. So I'm going Unnecessary Roughness with Al Michaels.
All right, I gotta go. With right here, man. I gotta go with NFL 2K, man. I gotta go with 2K. I believe that was Dreamcast, right? Remember we was talking about that last week.
Yes.
And I think that one, when it comes to graphics, was probably one of the closest ones to Madden.
That it was gameplay wise, it was better than Madden. It was better than my Madden gameplay wise. They completely. Like, they took the game and they just completely reversed and amplified the way we're supposed to play video games. It was so interactive, so ahead of its time, and they sold it for $20, which was just like unheard of at the time. Just to get people to play
what $20?
2K with the one with Terrell Owens on the cover. It was $20. I remember it was $20.
They sold the business for $20. Like, what?
No, they sold the game for $20 a copy.
Oh,
so that was a trend-setting game. Shout out to 2K Sports for that. So yeah, my next one. People don't remember this. I remember this. Mutant League Football. That game was probably the funnest football game you could ever play. It was before Blitz. It was before all of that. Mutant League Football, where you just had a bunch of zombies and like different horror creatures playing football. And the funnest part of that game is when you pick a wide receiver bomb, you throw the bomb, the guy catches it in the touchdown and explodes. That was the funnest football game ever.
I never played that one. If I were to go with my number 2, I mean, I would have to say you mentioned Joe Montana. I might have to say play action football.
That was dope too.
Play action football was pretty dope, like for its time. Obviously, we wouldn't play that style now, but
Yeah,
it's pretty dope for its time.
absolutely, 1000%.
Pretty dope for its time.
That was dope. And I'm gonna give my number 2 slot. Man's number. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's your number. That was number. Remember, Madden's number 1.
Yeah, so I got one more spot left. I got number 2 spot. My number 2 spot is going to go to NFL Game Day 98. Probably, aside from, since we're not including Madden, the greatest intro ever. If you weren't ready to play football after watching the Game Day intro, I don't know what to tell you. That game
was fire. That was fire. And our call and our texter just let us know that's the same thought that they had as well, man. So definitely
NFL Game Day 98. Yep.
Next week we're gonna pull up here on Monday and we're gonna do the best sports game all time. We're not gonna just do football or NFL or anything.
Are we doing a draft or are we doing what are we doing?
You can do a draft on that.
Oh, I got
some draft. You take your 5. I take my 5. We going Mike Tyson punch out to Tecmo Bowl to NBA jams to Tiger Woods golf. Man, we going knockout king. Huh?
Yeah, remember double dribble?
Double dribble, yeah. We go double dribble.
How about that? Corner 3,
man.
baby.
We definitely doing that, man. And right now we want to take some time to talk about just our final thoughts before we get out of here, Cousin Brad. Right now we have no game this week. We got a bye week, and we usually do our how to get a dub section. How does Buffalo get a dub through this bye week? What does this coaching staff need to do? What do these players need to do going forward? Do we need to watch that game over and over and over? Remember the pain. What do we need to do?
Okay, we need Houston to lose. We need Indianapolis to lose. We need Cleveland to lose. We need the Steelers to lose. We need the Bengals to lose. And we have to get healthy during the bye week. And then we got to play Kansas City on the road to Arrowhead. So that's how you get the dub. That's a dub. If all those teams lose and, we healthy and we beat them at Arrowhead, window's not shut. That's all I'm saying.
Well, look, man, I think we need to really, our head coach needs to really dig down, and he really needs to hold himself accountable. I think that's where it starts. It starts from the top and it comes down. He needs to hold himself accountable. He preaches accountability. He needs to hold himself accountable first. He needs to examine the things that he's done wrong, the calls that he's made that have cost us these last 6 games. These 6 games that we've lost. Most of them were lost in the fourth quarter, okay, at the end of game. So he needs to look at himself. And a lot of times Josh Allen was not on that field. 4 games, the defense gave up points in the fourth quarter to lose the game. So I think right there, starting there, we need to start with the head coach who needs to re-examine himself, maybe even seek some advice from some other head coaches to see how he can turn this season around. Last year they did it. They ran the table. They won 7 in a row at the end of the season. They did it. It can be done, Buffalo Bills Mafia. We can overcome. Again, it's going to be tough. It ain't going to be easy. Nothing is easy. It's us against the world. You already know what time it is.
What I want to see? Hold up. Before you look, we know what will like really inspire people? If you like wheeled Marv Levy in the locker room before the game, like he's all old and frail. He like gets out of the wheelchair and just say, I want you guys to win. And he's like all old and stuff. And he's like shaking. And it's like, oh, yes. Like that'll just like a perfect.
What place would you rather be?
Yeah, like yo, for real. That'll do it. That'll fire him up. Like he just, what I mean? He's all old. You got a Bills jacket on. His hair is not even there. You got the kidney moles on his face. Just like,
leave my man.
I want you guys to win. Like, yo, that will fire him up. That will fire him up.
I hope so, man. Something needs to happen, and man, but we didn't get to do our roll call, man. Buffalo World Bills Mafia roll call. Where y'all at?
We was hurting today.
Where you guys are. We overtime, but we want to know where y'all at. Come on, man. We know y'all out there. Bills Mafia.
Check in with us wherever
y'all at. Check in with us. Check in with us. Mafia Buffalo against the world roll call. Tell us where you're at. Me and cousin Brad, we in right here in the heart of Buffalo, New York. Man, it's look, man, it's Buffalo against the world. You know we're gonna always have the refs against us. We know sometimes we're gonna beat ourselves because we are a really good football team. So we haven't lost hope in our team. We just want to win. We all want to win.
We're in our feelings. We're really in our feelings, and
We're definitely in our feelings.
we're in our feelings today. We're in our feelings. It was so heartbreaking. Like that, like those. I would rather them blow us out. I'd rather them beat us like 30-0. I would feel better.
I wouldn't.
I would feel better. I would feel better if they beat us 30-0 than they beating us in overtime. Like,
Cordell in the house.
Shout out to Georgia.
We got Claire, Iowa in the BI. You know what I'm saying? We got Claire, Iowa in the BI, man. Look, man, I'm gonna tell you, fans out there, we're gonna have to beat the refs. We're gonna have to. I was hoping yesterday was that game where, despite all the bad calls, that we still was gonna pull that game out. Look, man, we were the better team. We were the better team. I don't care what nobody says. We were the better football team. And at the end of the day, sometimes you get out coached, man. Sometimes you get out coached. Sometimes the other team's strategy is just a little better. Sometimes it's just a little better. Shout out to all the Bills fans out there, man, that's been watching and supporting. Make sure you go and like, share, subscribe on the Built-In Buffalo platform, who brings Buffalo against the world forward. We thank you. Shout out to all the fans out there that's been showing us love all over the Bills Mafia world. It's us against the world, as you well know. Make sure
go Bills, man. Go Bills. I haven't lost faith.
We ain't lost faith, man. We ain't lost faith, man. We feel like we can still run that table, get to the playoffs. Because if we in the playoffs, man, we still a force to be reckoned with.
Dangerous team in the playoffs. The day y'all see us on this show without our Bills gear on, then it's like, okay, they lost hope. They lost hope. We still got it on. We still here.
And what a season to start this podcast, Buffalo Against the World, and it turn around just like that. Man, make sure you like, share, subscribe on the Built-In Buffalo platform. You got one thing to say, cuz?
No, I said we're number one.
Number one. Like, share, subscribe. See y'all next week.